morning, everyone. It's Pastor Mike here, and we are in week 2 of Boiling Point Leadership. And what does it mean to have that extra degree of leadership in our lives? Well, I'm really excited for this opportunity because it gives me a chance, like I said 2 weeks ago, really to pour into you because I believe in you and you guys are worth investing in. And so we're looking at this, how do we take our leadership to the next level? Last week we talked about servant leadership and what that looks like. Serving those people that we are aspiring to lead helps us take that next step in leadership. Today we're going to look at attitude. What is attitude and how does attitude affect us and those that are around us? Well, attitude is a settled thought or a settled way of thinking about a certain person or a certain situation that we're in, and those thoughts come out in our behavior. So when we talk about having a bad attitude, the way we think is often portrayed in the way we behave. And so how does that affect us as leaders? Because let's face it, if as a leader, if we have a bad attitude, man, it spreads like wildfire. It becomes a virus and it is contagious, and everybody around you can be contaminated with your or my bad attitude. So I want to talk about some things today that will help us stay in a positive attitude, have a good outlook on things in our ministry, in our place of business, where we work, in our homes. As a leader, you're a leader no matter where you are because you're a leader. You don't just show up to church and you put on your leader suit. You're a leader regardless at home or at church or at work or in the grocery store or in your car. You're a leader. And so these things have to constantly be into play because how we think a lot of times is how we behave. And so I want to look at today a couple of things here. Developing a positive future. Developing a positive future. What does that look like? It's really, your picture of what your future looks like. If you constantly are thinking negatively about your future, well, guess what? Your future is going to be negative. But if you're thinking positively about your future, man, your attitude about your future is going to be positive. And again, you're going to behave, you're going to act out those things in your future, for your future. So you have to create that positive thought process of your future. And not only do you have to create that positive thought process, but then you have to take action steps. Set goals so that you can make that vision a reality. So as a leader, especially in ministry, if you're looking at, okay, what does my ministry look like for the future? What do I want this to look like for the future? Well, I have to set a positive vision for the future of my ministry, or you have to set a positive vision for the future of your ministry, but it can't stop there. You have to set action points, goals that you are going to make this vision a reality. The steps that are going to make this become real. And when you do that, man, you're starting now to create an environment that people want to be around, that other leaders want to be around, that the people that you're leading, they see, wow, this is a positive environment. And all of a sudden we start thinking in a positive manner, and our attitude becomes positive. And then guess what? Our behaviors start to reflect our thought process, because we are renewed or we're transformed by the renewing of our mind, the way we think. So if we're thinking within ourselves and not thinking kingdom-mindedly or with kingdom thinking, we are going to be thinking negatively. We're not going to have that positive thought process. And then we start to act like how we think, or we start to behave how we think. And that is not a good situation to be in as a leader. But the other piece to that is, you know what? You have to start speaking positively about yourself. We call it positive speak or positive self-talk. I know there are times when I'm out on the golf course and I hit a bad shot. The first thing I say is sometimes, "Oh, you're so stupid. Why did you do that?" Or "Why did you make a mistake in the oh, you're such an idiot." Well, that is such negative talk. And the more we talk that way about ourselves, a lot of times what happens is we start to believe that. And when we start to believe the negative things about ourselves, how do we start behaving? We start behaving negatively. We start doing those things that reinforce what we think about ourselves or how we talk to ourselves. And let's face it, nobody wants to be around us when we're thinking bad about ourselves because we act bad. And as a leader, man, that's destructive. That causes more harm than good. Actually, it doesn't cause any good. It causes all harm. So we're looking at leadership that has a positive attitude. And let's face it, there are going to be times when our attitude isn't going to be completely positive. We run into situations where there's negative thoughts or negative things that come our way. But you know what? How we respond makes all the difference in the world. How we respond to our thought process and our behavior patterns, how we become self-aware of those at any given moment and we respond to those in a kingdom manner, it makes all the difference in the world. The other thing, another thing that we really need to look at is, focus on job responsibilities and not functions. And what that means is, you know what? If someone fails, someone that you're leading fails to follow through on a job, well, guess what? It might not be your job to pick up the slack, but ultimately it's your responsibility. And so that kind of helps create an attitude of, hey, you know what? There's going to be a thought process here that I'm going to have to lead the people that are under me to help them follow through in their job and do the things that you're asking them to do, I'm asking them to do, because ultimately it's my responsibility. We hear so often, well, it's not my job. Well, ultimately it might not be your job, but it's your responsibility. And so you are my responsibility, and that's why I see how important this is to pour into you. It's not my job to do that, but it's my responsibility to do that because I'm looking at you as a valuable leader. And I want to be able to do this. And so it's having that mindset. Again, the way we think is how we behave. And so if I don't think that it's my job, well, guess what? I'm not going to do it. But if I come to this and say, man, this is my responsibility, well, then I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that that job gets done, regardless if it's my job or someone I'm leading. It's their job, but it's ultimately my responsibility. And so these are some of the things that we look at as far as attitude and how we can take our attitude to that next level. And so we put this in practice, and we will be on our way to taking our leadership here at Wellspring Family Life Church to that next level. That's all I have for today. I look forward to next week, and I will see you soon. Peace out.